What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the DFS Dose YouTube channel. I'm Ben Hauver, and today we're going to be taking a look at my Week 15 cash pool. Cash pool is an article that I write which goes live on the dfsdose.com around 5 p.m. Eastern every Friday afternoon. Link will be in the description as soon as the article goes live, and it goes in depth on every player that I deem to be cash viable for a given week on DraftKings. If you want to support the DFS Dose, there are a couple of free and easy ways you can do so. The first is to subscribe to this channel and like the video. You can also subscribe to the DFS Dose podcast, which drops multiple episodes every single week, at least 2 every Monday, recapping the previous week's action, and then Thursday previewing the upcoming slate. We do bonus episodes here and there, like for example, today dropped a episode that covers the 2-game slate for Saturday. So you can check that out. It's available on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, Podcast Addict, wherever you listen to podcasts. We are there for free. And finally, you can join the DFS Dose Discord channel. It is free. Hop in. We can talk about DFS. We're in there every single day. It's a good way to keep up on our thoughts as they evolve throughout the week. Now that we've gotten through all of the plugs, let's dive right into the cash pool. Starting off at the quarterback position, I think it's pretty clear that rushing production is what people are going to be chasing in Week 15 at QB. At the high end, we've got Lamar Jackson, who looked absolutely dominant in his Monday night heroics over the Browns. I mean, if he's not the number 1 quarterback play this week, he's definitely number 2. And in the mid-range, we've got an interesting decision to make. You know, Taysom Hill is at 6K flat and Jalen Hurts is at 5,900. My early week thoughts on roster construction is that this tier of guys fits a lot better than Lamar Jackson simply based off price. Now, comparing the two players, Taysom Hill and Jalen Hurts, I think that the situation surrounding them favors Taysom Hill pretty obviously. New Orleans has a 3-point higher implied team total over Philly, 24-21, and the game total is also higher, 51 to 48.5. For Taysom, he gets the Mahomes boost. You know, I truly believe that even being in the same game as Patrick Mahomes right now, playing at the level he's playing at, just boosts the ceiling of everybody who's playing on both sides of the ball. You know, it just increases shootout potential, and that to Taysom Hill is what favors him. It's the potential ceiling. I smell a butt. But Taysom Hill has a lower floor. I think there's legitimate bench equity in this spot. Hill is fumbling or throwing interceptions to the tune of 2 per game. Saints head coach Sean Payton made reference to potential Jameis Winston starts in 2021. And if you're talking about the third string quarterback starting in the future, chances are he could be starting at any point. Now, on the Week 15 preview podcast, my co-host Joey Carrion made the point that he believes Jalen Hurts also has bench equity, as Doug Peterson's irrational love for Carson Wentz knows no bounds. That makes sense too, because Peterson was hesitant to name Hurts the starter even after he became the second quarterback in the last 70 years to rush for 100 yards in his first start. Peterson still thought, hey, maybe I should jam this bona fide scrub Carson Wentz into the starting lineup. No shot. And I think that if we don't assume rational coaching, which, I mean, how can we for Doug Peterson? It's definitely possible that, you know, a bad start to the game could result in Hurts being benched in favor of Carson Wentz. Now, that being said, I think this is where I start to get a little biased, but I just don't think that Jalen Hurts will play badly enough to warrant that. I think this kid is electric. I think he's the real deal. And with Taysom Hill, I mean, I'm still skeptical. So as we sit right now, as I'm recording this Thursday evening, I think it's Hurts pretty easily for me. He saw an $800 discount after rushing the ball 18 times at the quarterback position in his first start. He's still way too cheap, should not be priced below 6K on DraftKings. The Cardinals are going to play fast in this game. The Eagles, who played slow as dirt when Wentz was at quarterback, actually picked up the pace with Jalen Hurts, and that bodes well. So I think that while we can't necessarily project 15 plus attempts as a baseline for Hurts, I think the floor is legitimately around 10, and 15 could easily be within his range, obviously, as he had 18 in game 1. He had 23.28 DraftKings points with only 1 passing touchdown in that game, with only pass yards and rushing yards there to supplement that production. I think Jalen Hurts is a phenomenal play this week. Moving on to running back, you know, I'm not going to go into a long soliloquy about why you should play Derrick Henry. I'm just not going to do it. The Titans have the highest implied team total on the slate. They're a home favorite. It's an immaculate matchup. Even the Derrick Henry haters on DFS Twitter are all aboard the big dog train this week. If you don't know why Derrick Henry is a good play, I just don't think I can help you. What I can do, however, is talk about these rookie running backs, and I think that that is a big theme this week? Which of these guys are you inclined to play? And seriously, drop a comment below because I'm legitimately curious to know which of these rookies you're favoring in week 15. For me, I think it's Cam Akers. That's my preferred option, but I'm going to talk about the group as a whole. Jonathan Taylor, Cam Akers, and J.K. Dobbins. These guys are in similar situations. All three of them are at home. All of them are on teams with top 4 implied team totals on the slate, and they're all in spots where their teams are favored by over a touchdown. In Cam Akers' case, the Rams are favored by 2 touchdowns. Now, Jonathan Taylor is for sure 100% without a doubt going to be splitting work with Nyheim Hines. Jordan Wilkins could be in the mix. He could not. That's anybody's guess. But the Colts also have this weird fascination with giving Jacoby Brissett rushing attempts in scoring position. That's just awkward. I don't really know what to say about that, but the matchup also favors JT. I think he has the best matchup of the 3 guys. J.K. Dobbins, who is not in my cash pool, but I understand why people would like him in this spot at home. Massive team total going against the Jacksonville team that just let Derrick Henry run for 200 yards right down their throat. It appears that the Ravens have essentially cut Mark Ingram out of the equation. Now they're fully in a 2-back split between Dobbins and Gus the Bus. However, Lamar Jackson is also going to be siphoning off, a minimum of 9 rushing attempts per game, definitely upside for more. So Cam Akers, in my opinion, is the only one of these guys who has the actual potential to fully dominate his backfield. Again, that could be totally wrong. Sean McVay could absolutely wake up on Sunday morning and decide that Darrell Henderson hasn't been seeing enough work lately, or maybe we need to get Malcolm Brown some snaps. But over the past 2 weeks, McVay has been highly committed to Cam Akers. He outtouched the other 2 backs 53-12 over the last 2 weeks, and he's coming off of a nice 10-day break following his Thursday night breakout last week. Simply put, Akers is my guy this week. He is my second favorite running back play on the board behind King Henry. For my full thoughts on some of the other guys you'll see on the screen, like Leonard Fournette and Jeff Wilson Jr., depending on how the Raheem Mostert situation plays out, check out the full cash pool article. I will go over both of those guys in detail. Link will be in the description as soon as the article goes live. At wide receiver, Brandon Ayuk is about as close to a free square as I think you're going to find this week. Now, if George Kittle somehow returns, that could change, but as things currently sit, Ayuk has been averaging 12.5 targets per game over his last 4, just commanding an absolutely dominant market share of his team's targets. He's put up 19.7 DraftKings points or more in that span, and Deebo Samuel is going to miss this week. I mean, he's probably going to miss the duration of the season, and to just sort of put a feather in the cap of this play, Dallas is a fantastic matchup for opposing wide receivers, so an affordable 6.3K price tag, plug him in, move on, easy game. Choosing where we want to find some value at wide receiver this week is where things get interesting. Now, I'm not going to go too in-depth in this video. Again, I would say check out the full article because we have a lot of moving pieces right now, and things are just going to change totally once we see some Friday injury reports. I mean, some guys that we're looking at, we have Miles Boykin and B-Movie Brown on the COVID list, which could make Willie Snead a viable play at 4,300. We have Devontae Parker, Jakeem Grant, and Mike Gesicki all questionable, which could make Lynn Bowden an extremely strong play at 3,600. Depending on, which of those guys do or don't play. And then we also have Michael Gallup at 3,500, who has been boom or bust all season, but he's had a decent amount of targets, 6 or more targets in 5 out of the last 6 games. We're just going to have to wait and see to see which of these guys play, which miss, because that's really going to change, the trajectory of the slate. So like I said at the top of the video, one thing that you can do is feel free to hop in the DFS Dose free Discord chat. We can talk about these guys and the developments around them as they become known over the next couple of days. My final note at wide receiver this week is that I think guys like Tyreek Hill and DeAndre Hopkins are extremely viable. They're strong plays this week. I just don't know if we can fit them in what I'm considering to be the optimal build this week. Of course, that could change depending on what value becomes strong over the next couple of days. All right, and finally, the tight end position. Travis Kelce really jammed it down team pay down at tight end's throat last week, and he's all the way up to 8K, so I think it's going to be really hard for anybody, even the guys who like to pay up for tight end in cash, to really get there this week. Now, I would have to go back and look to confirm this, but I feel like this is the first time in maybe 6 or 7 weeks that I've even considered a tight end above $5,000 in cash games on DraftKings, but the spot for Mark Andrews this week, 5,500, it just sets up so well with the potential losses of Brown and Boykin. He could see increased targets, and with his touchdown upside that we know he has, he could easily separate from the entire field this week. But as is always the case, paying down for somebody in that 3K range and what it does for the rest of your roster construction is just extremely valuable, since the floor at the tight end is so much lower. I mean, it's, 2,500 compared to the 3K wide receiver floor and the 4K running back floor. The guys that I'm most interested in right now with the paydown range are Hayden Hurst and Cole Kmet. Hurst to me is just too cheap at this point, although he hasn't really been getting there lately. That doesn't mean that he can't get there. And Cole Kmet, we now have a 4-week sample size of him significantly out-snapping Jimmy Graham. And he played on a young career high 85% of snaps last week. He's had 70 plus in 4 straight and 7 targets in back-to-back weeks. He is eating. Trubisky, aka Trash Biscuit, is trusting him. He's 3K, $2,500 discount off of Andrews. I mean, that discount could really come in clutch this week. But that's going to be it for the week 15 edition of the cash pool. Drop a comment below. Let me know which of these guys you're feeling. Which of the rookie running backs do you like the most? I want to hear from all of you, so drop a comment below. Like this video. I do appreciate it. Thank you for watching. And like I said at the top of the video, we have a special preview podcast for the Saturday slate that dropped this morning. So check that out if you're getting any action in on the awesome 2-game doubleheader that we have this Saturday. Once again, guys, thank you for watching, and I will be back next Friday with a Week 16 edition of the Cash Pool.